Excellence sometimes it has a side effect on people. Here's an example for us.
Burnout.
Burnout. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
You have seen firsthand how excellence positively transfer people and how can affect on the other side. Share with us some stories about that.
So burnout is a real thing, and when you are constantly striving, you have to be very, very careful of not overworking, and I'm very guilty of this.
Okay.
So I will work and work and work and then collapse in a heap. So you need to make sure that you pace yourself. You need to make sure, and this is the most important thing that I've had to learn, you have to make time for yourself. If you don't make time for yourself, you won't have the energy to take care of other people. Yeah. And when you're working in a role such as mine and you do have other people surrounding you, you need to be on top of your game all the time. So I don't feel guilty at all about having this is an Australian saying, it's called a doona day. So a doona day is when you just stay in bed, you cover your face with your doona and you don't move, right? So that is, it's something that everyone should take up. Some people call it a rest day or a mental health day. Australia, we call it a doona day, where you just turn off your phone and everyone just go away. And you take time for yourself, have a massage, you sleep, you do whatever. And it's a really important thing to do. So particularly for mothers as well, and working mothers, you must take time for you.
Yeah.
And again, guilty. Always put other people first. You always put yourself last. You need to swap that around. By putting yourself first, everyone else around you benefits. So everyone should make time for themselves. And even if it's just 2 hours to go and get a massage, get your nails done, go for a walk, get away from a screen. Leave your phone at home, no screens.
Absolutely.
Have a complete and utter rest from screens and everything else. And take the time out, because when you do that, you recharge and then you've got more energy for others around you.
Yesterday I was in a discussion about the same topic, and why I was saying life-work balance, that this title, sometimes it's I have my own...
it's a misnomer. There's no such thing.
There's no such a thing.
Right?
Because I explained to the person with me, and they said, this is the negative part. We'll come to the positive side of pursuing the excellence or the transformation of excellence. So I was saying, once you put it as a title, as a balance, in the back of your head, if you overdo one of the other, you will feel guilty. I have heard people saying, oh, I cannot go to the gym because I need to work. And then when he isn't continue working, the guilt in his head, saying, oh, you should go at least for 1 hour. That's why for me, I don't call it life-work balance, because
it's life balance.
I would take balance out of the equation. I'll tell you why. Because if you are here today in the studio, I am fully aware about this experience of recording this, and I'm enjoying every moment of it. I switch off my brain about anything else.
We can fix that. I can make it a little bit harder for you.
No. That's unbreakable, which is very good. So, and this is exactly what's happening. I'm moving from task to a task. What do you call it? Immersive experience? Just going through that itself without any back thoughts of, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. I tried it for many years now, and it's paying off. Because everything I do is just for the same moment. What comes next, it's meant to be next. I've done this, then I need to do my paperwork, then I do, for example, X, Y, Z. Each block, it's a blockchain. Each block of this chain, it takes its own time. It doesn't overlap. It can overlap, fine, but mentally, no.
I think you need to...
It's good.
To chill.
I'm chilling.
Shui. And just go with the flow.
I'm okay with it. I enjoy every part of it. Trust me.
That's my only Arabic too, by the way.
You need to practice more. I think.
My daughter tells me all the time, "Shui, mum."
Shui.
Shui.
Okay. Shui means slowly.
Yeah.
All right. That's a negative side. But the actual transforming to seeking excellence, what kind of impact, positive impact comes to you as a person and as an organization?
It's definitely the sense of accomplishment and achievement, that you've set yourself a goal and you get there.
Unpack this, please, for the people
Yes,
who's listening. It's this kind of a sentence, people can read it in books. You are here because you felt it, you lived it, you've gone through it. So breaking it for the people, they will understand what is the for the experience is the emotion, how you handle it, and how you really tackle it. That's why I'm asking you to unpack it. So there you go. Unpack it for us, please.
Okay, sure. So again, a sense of accomplishment. So by setting yourself goals, and everyone sets themselves goals, and when you reach those goals, and it's not necessarily about the goal either. So for me, I prefer and I use a vision board, and I have things on the vision board that are
Very
just
good.
so far out that you wouldn't even believe that they happen, but they
Yeah.
do. It's amazing. So by having that sense of purpose and sense of where you're going, when you get there, emotionally, it reinforces that positive thought. It also makes you feel really good, and it gives you a buzz, and then you want to do it again. So it's self-fulfilling, the prophecy that you continue on by reinforcing that positive intent that you have and achieving that.
Yeah.
And I never get tired of it. It's great. And then you have those moments, but you do have those moments where you sit there and go, oh, I haven't.
There we go again.
Yeah, I haven't quite achieved what I wanted to do. So you just refocus and get on.
Why I'm asking that, we have discussed that the purpose of this podcast is breaking the cycle of failure, and one of them being stuck, and one element which is the transition between an employee to an owner of a business or employer, let's put it that way. Setting goals and achieving it is the bright side.
Yeah, but failure is also an opportunity to learn. I don't see failure as necessarily a negative thing. You have to fail to learn what to do differently. Okay. So, and this is, the summit is a classic example of that, because in April, I'm sitting there going, okay, so
when did you start planning actually for it? Let's take one step back.
June. In
Okay.
six weeks, I had it completely done.
But the concept itself was
Concept, 6 weeks.
from
the website, the concept, all the.
No. I'm not saying the actual event, but the concept of the award itself.
The concept of the award was one day. Within 3 days, I had everything done.
I didn't expect that. So what was in April in this case?
So April, I started to see things slowing down. I'm thinking, okay, well, what I'm doing at the moment is not working entirely. So how do I fix that? I'm not going to achieve what I want to achieve by doing the same things. So I needed to change it. So by failing, I'm learning that I need to do things another way, and I don't see failure as negative.
Honestly, I've seen from the I don't know what to call it, the youngsters, or I would call it this generation. They don't have vision. Forget about motivation. They don't have vision. They're just living by seeking a secure job. I'm not against it.
Yep.
Securing a certain job that it will get income, because I see this from the examples that they come for the training. I have my own thing to trigger this kind of questions, just to profile them.
Yeah.
And based on that, we can manage the actual training session. So I wouldn't say 99%.
But it's not necessarily just youth. It's across the board. And I think, particularly young kids these days, they live in a very different world. They live in a virtual world.
Unfortunately, yes.
Which is unfortunate. And they need to step up from behind the screen and actually experience things. I can remember when I was growing up, dinosaurs were running around, and we used to, run away from the dinosaurs and stuff, because I'm old. But in my younger years, we would be out when it was light. We would be out and riding our bikes and doing stuff, and we'd get home at our curfew was when the streetlights came on. Kids these days don't do the same thing. They sit in their screens, they talk to each other on screens, they don't actually interact with each other. So they're missing out on that experience element that helps with vision. I think vision comes from experience, so I think that the expectation on the youth these days is too high. I think they need to find their own path, and they live in a very, very different world. So they will start to unpack, once they get these experiences, they'll start to unpack vision. Vision doesn't happen when you're young. Vision comes from experience, but it also comes from the people around you. So with young guys and girls, I always encourage them to surround themselves with like-minded people.
Thank you. I advocate highly for this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, you are a product of those who are around you.